Welcome back to another thrilling recap. Today we're unraveling the electrifying narrative of Jolt 2021. So, buckle up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm James and this is Recap 3.0. We start with Lindy Lewis, who had a tough childhood because her parents didn't pay much attention. Her problems got worse, and now she has a disorder that makes her get really angry easily. She might explode in anger for small things. Even after trying different treatments and joining the military, her health didn't get better. Her psychiatrist, Dr. Munchin, came up with a plan. He gave her a special vest with electric shocks to control her urges and avoid fights. Lindy goes on a date with a guy named Justin today to have a normal life. At the last moment, she thinks of canceling but decides to go because Justin seems like a nice guy. During their talk, the waiter keeps refusing Justin's orders. This makes Lindy mad, but she manages to stay calm. However, she hears the waitress talking and making fun of Justin in the restroom. Lindy tries to utilize her invention, but it could be more effective. She can't control herself. She confronts and hurts the waitress before leaving without telling Justin. The next morning, Lindy takes the vest to Dr. Munchin and asks him to repair it. The doctor asks her about the date. She feels it was a failure since she hurt someone again. Although Dr. Munchin fixes the device, he says that the long-term solution for her problem is forming a stronger connection with someone and encourages her to pursue a relationship. Lindy walks away without saying anything. Even though she didn't plan to contact Justin again, she calls him and asks to meet. They get along well in their next meeting, and she talks about her interest in photography. They go to Lindy's house, and he tries to kiss her. She's worried she might hurt him too. Justin finds her special vest but isn't concerned about it, and he stays the night with Lindy. He gifts her a camera the next morning, and Lindy is grateful and very happy. She reluctantly talks about her disorder when he asks about the vest. She asks him to stay a little longer, and Justin has to leave for work as an accountant. Before leaving, he invites her to dinner at his place. Lindy is happy about this unexpected connection and tells Dr. Munchin. She thinks she might not need the gadget since she didn't use it the previous night. This relationship does not need it. She spends the day taking photos with her new camera after visiting the doctor as she prepares for dinner. She gets a message from Justin saying he might be late. When she calls him, Detective Vickers tells her that Justin has been murdered. Lindy reaches the police station, where Vickers and Detective Nevin tell her about Justin's body found in a dumpster. She feels they aren't taking it seriously and decides to investigate herself. She attends Justin's funeral, mourns, and remembers the time they had together. She meets Dr. Munchin again, emotionally overwhelmed and broken. He gives her sedatives to calm down. When she gained consciousness, Lindy tells him about Justin and her suspicion that his client, Barry, was involved. Dr. Munchkin wants her to let the police handle it, but Lindy insists on doing it herself. The doctor tries to stop her, but Lindy goes ahead with her plan and leaves the clinic. The doctor feared that she would hurt someone. She threatens the police. She contacts Detective Vickers and asks him to meet her at her place. She takes Justin's things from the evidence room as the Detective Vickers leaves and gets his address and searches his apartment for clues. Vickers calls her while she is searching. He is unhappy with her behavior. He gives her another chance and tells her Niven is on the way to arrest her. Lindy rushes out and meets Niven at the door. Niven charges her with murder and plans to take her to the police station because Vickers is still on the phony. Lindy shares the phone with Niven and runs after beating her. She snatches Justin McLaren and rushes to parking lot. Lindy escapes again after Niven and Vickers are involved in an accident. The next day, she goes to a cell phone store and requests the manager to find a hacker for her. Lindy wants to access Justin's phone for clues. The manager introduces her to Andy, and he thought that her lover was a drug dealer because he had erased all the data from the phone. She explains Justin was just an accountant. The last calls he received were all from an arms dealer named Barry Chris Sparky. Lindy thinks Barry is involved in the murder. All thought he had not revealed his occupation. Lindy thinks of Sandy and leaves her with the car key, determined to purse Barry. At Barry's place, she discovers he organizes paid fights. She asks him about Justin's murder, and he does not give her any information. He challenges her to a fight with 3 best men in exchange for information. Lindy agrees. She defeats his men, and Barry takes her with him. Barry's men try to kill Lindy in car, but she fights back and manages to overwhelm them. She forces Barry to reveal what she wants to know. Barry tells her that Justin was killed by his boss, Gareth Fizzle. He further says that locating Fizzle will be extremely difficult because he is a very powerful man, and even the government is unwilling to pursue him. Meanwhile, Detective Nevin pays a visit to Vickers in the hospital and warns him of Lindsay's history of violence and assault as a result of her anger issues. When she is gone, Lindy visits him. Lindy praises Vickers for the warning, and she tells him she found the murderer, and she asks him to arrest Fizzle, but Vickers say they cannot act without evidence. Vickers asks Lindy why she is so anxious to discover Justin's killer. Despite the fact that they had only met a few times, she tells him that he was the only really nice person she had encountered recently. Moved by her concern, Vickers gives her Feasley's address but warns not to go alone. Nevin arrives while they were discussing the situation. Nevin tries to arrest Lindy, but she escapes again. She reaches Fizzle's office building, where Delacroix, his security, tries to accompany her to the office but then knocks her down in the elevator. He asks her about her search for Fizzley, and Lindy says she wants to find Justin's killer, though she's not part of Justin's family. Delacroix tries to spare her but takes her vest and throw her out of the building. Lindy misses her vest in the car, tells the driver to stop the car, but the divers refuse to stop, so she hits him, causing an accident. She escapes from the car and run away. After her adventures, she sees Dr. Munson again, demanding another device. Returning home, she finds someone broke into her flat. She enters through the window and discovers that Fizzle's men have planted a booby trap designed to kill her in an explosion. She disarms the bomb and takes the device. She plants another bomb to fake her death. Walking out, she meets Vickers, who wants to arrest her for safety. Her flat explodes, letting her disappear again. Vickers calls her, trying to talk her out of pursuing Fizzle, advising her to let the authorities handle it. Lindy feels they won't arrest him and dismisses his concerns and continues her plan. She reaches Fizzle's building, but is caught by Delacroix once again. He brings her to Fizzle, who admits to Justin's murder and many more people. Lindy struggles to control her rage. She gets hit on the head. Delacroix knocks her out. When she wakes up, she's tied to a chair. She escapes from there. She attacks Delacroix, and she forces him to tell her Fizzle's secret office. She is confronted by other guards. A battle starts. Lindy reaches the office after beating the security officers. There she finds out that Fizzle is already dead. Justin appears in the room. Lindy couldn't believe her eyes after witnessing his burial. Before she could comprehend what happened, he starts explaining that he's a CIA agent who used her to reach Fizzle indirectly, since they didn't want to get involved directly. He explains that Dr. Munchen had recommended her because he works for them, and his research is sponsored. He tries to use the electric shock on her, but it doesn't work. But she had become resistant to it, and the equipment no longer works on her. Lindy throws her bag at him and escapes the building. Justin not understanding her motive. A bomb explodes and it kills Justin. After escaping from the building, Lindy confronts Dr. Munson, accusing him of manipulating her for personal gain. He apologizes, asserting his unawareness of Justin's plan. Vickers and Nevin discover Lindy, pressing Dr. Munson to the wall during the dispute. They feared that Lindy is attempting murder. They shoot her in the leg. Soon, they comprehend she was handcuffing him for arrest. Vickers admires her determined patience, transporting her to the hospital. Both assist in covering her traces, returning her confiscated device in the ambulance. Vickers asks her out, and she considers to think about it. After being discharged from hospital, she returned to her flat to collect her stuff. A strange woman visits her, claiming to be senior of Justin in the closing scene. Lindy has been under surveillance, and they want to use her rage to take down bad people. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time.